Welcome to Q&A, Questions Need Answers. I'm your host, James Munch II. Most people know me as Munch. And on this show, we talk about community, culture, and politics. And today, I have none other than Miss Dinah Escarment.
Yes.
All right. I want to make sure I say the name right. If you know me, you know I'm a stickler for names and trying to get them right. I don't want to disrespect nobody. That's the easiest way to disrespect somebody. Say my name right. You know what I'm saying? So she's a candidate for House District, Florida House District 109 and, 108.
Yes.
Why is it? Okay, 108, House District 108. I don't know why I thought it was 109.
Because you probably just had Gant come out today and she was 109.
No, yeah, well, we dropped today, yeah. So that's probably what it was. Okay, that's cool then. All right, now I feel a little bit better.
Oh, you thought I was going against Gant?
No, I didn't think you was going against Gant. It's just that it's a lot of different. I don't want to have to pick and choose. Like y'all this year is so crazy.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So, we usually start off with, letting the people know who you are, your journey into this role. And I guess we'll start there.
So my name is, as he said, Dinah Escarment. A lot of people call me Dina, so we just had this whole conversation about how to get the name right. But I always try to tell people, like, there's some songs back in the days that someone in the kitchen with Dinah or Dinah, won't you blow your horn to remember the name? So I have been very, very active in my community, but my journey didn't start in the community. It started somewhere, right? So I was born right here, a few blocks on 63rd Street, right there in the duplexes. My older brother was born there. My mom graduated from Edison right down the street. And I went to Gratney Elementary. So we moved from Little Haiti City in Miami area, and then we moved to North Miami. So I was basically raised in North Miami. Mm-hmm. Gratney Elementary is in North Miami. That's the elementary school that I went to. And just being in a family that was of service kind of started that foundation for me to be of service to my community. So growing up, as soon as I graduated college, I graduated from FIU with my bachelor's, and I went into teaching. Because while I was in college, I started my first business before I even graduated from college, but I was substitute teaching as well here and there. And I really liked, meeting the young kids and being able to give back to them. But it was like a shocker, like actually like being a teacher and in certain underserved communities, seeing what they have going on. So I remember I taught at Sunland Park Academy, and I remember one night I went home like bawling, crying. I would never forget this. Just really seeing firsthand what people go through, what students go through, young kids in kindergarten, how they are not able to eat after school. Like they eat when they come to school in the morning for breakfast, they eat at lunch, and they might not get another meal for the rest of the day. They're at homeless shelters. If they miss breakfast, guess what? Now you gotta wait till lunch. So you have one meal a day. So I remember just having to take my resources and kind of accommodate that. So that they were able to have breakfast in the morning to be able to function. I can't get mad at you that your head is down, you're not focused, and I know your situation, you don't eat. A lot of teachers, you don't get to know your classroom, your students who you're serving. They'll probably go crazy, like you need to pay attention, you need to do your work, but you have to get deeper, you have to dive deeper. And before I was able to dive deeper, I didn't understand why some kids were acting out. Then the mom would pull me to the side, like, we're homeless right now, we're this and that. So, and it made me kind of understand better that sometimes you need to, as a teacher, you're not just there to teach. That's one of the jobs that you're doing in the classroom. But you have to actually get to know these kids and hug them, give them love, and oh my goodness, they'll be like this. They'll get everybody in line for you. So that's what I had to start doing. And a lot of the kids, they say, Miss E, are you rich? And y'all know on a teacher's salary, you know the answer to that question.
Nope.
Nope.
Far from it.
Far from it.
I just dress nice.
I try, Sheen. Yeah, so that's kind of what started me, because sometimes you could grow up in a family of service, but when you experience it for yourself and now you're actually the one really giving back, it opens your eyes. It's like an eye opener, a game changer for you. So that's kind of just where it started in the classroom. I taught in Broward County Public Schools. When I moved to Orlando, I taught in Orange County Public Schools, and then I moved back down to North Miami in 2021 when my father passed away. And my father had a nonprofit organization. He was always giving back food into the community, and everyone knew him. He was a very popular popular guy, his face on a truck, just going around, just helping people out. He had his business right there next to City Hall in North Miami. So we're continuing that business and that foundation. So since then, people have been asking me to run for office for like the last 5 years, and I kept saying no because I can help kind of like where I am from the desk where I'm sitting, because people will come for help. They're used to my dad always helping them, so they will come. People can't pay their rents, people can't pay their light bill, people have real issues. So you see coming from the classroom and you're like, okay, you see all these issues that the kids are having, seeing the kids with watching middle school kids, elementary school kids watching newborn babies at home because their single mom has to work. But then you think you come into a business in a community and it's the same problems, just different type of problems, but it's the same type of problems. So you have senior citizens coming to me, and they're crying. They don't know if they're gonna, because their house is paid off, but they worked all their life. They did what they're supposed to do. But now they got to figure out, am I going to have enough money to pay my property taxes and my light bill, my water bill, or do I have enough money to buy my medication? So that was one of the issues that I was seeing, just different dynamics, different groups of people, different age groups having all these issues. And then people like, we need somebody like you in office. We need somebody who actually understands the community and understands what the community is going through and who can advocate on our behalf and be able to, bring about change and a real difference. So I said, you know what? Instead of helping one person at a time, I could take that fight to Tallahassee and help thousands of families, with legislation and bringing funding to our community. And so that's really what got me into politics. My father ran for mayor of North Miami, but I was still always like, politics was always around. But I was like, I don't need to run to help, right? I don't need to be in office to help. So I've been helping just being in the community. But, the community called, I finally answered, so.
I'm glad you went through all that, because I was going to ask a set of questions, because it was, people been hitting me with a lot of rumors. Like, oh, she not from here, she from Orlando. I'm like, really? But I'm like, she be in Miami. So I'm glad you went through all that to like explain it. Because
I went to college in Orlando, UCF.
Yeah. Okay. You got like a master's or something?
So after I graduated from FIU with my bachelor's degree, I went over to UCF in speech pathology. And that's when I moved back down here. But I'm from here, born in the city, born in District 108 and raised in District 108.
Yeah, that's dope. Like, I think I have this theory that, if you Haitian, you have some connection to Little Haiti in some way, shape, or form. It's like the portal to everywhere else.
Yes.
And so with North Miami, being that I grew up in a little bit, played some sports in North Miami, I understand the dynamic a little bit. And so it's a little different than Little Haiti.
Yeah, it's different.
More businesses.
Yes. From
my understanding. More, I wouldn't say middle class, because that's like evaporated. Working poor folks. But they're more established in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you tell us about just your experiences, because you said you had a couple businesses, your dad's business and your business, right? What your business was in?
So before I graduated college, I started my first business, and I was like, man, should I even finish college? I already got some contracts, should I? But, my family was for education. I'm glad I continued. I was almost there, just like 2 semesters left. So my first business was like security service consultants, like a security business where we got contracts over in Midtown Design District with the security officers that wear the suits and work inside Louboutin and like Louis Vuitton. So we had some contracts over there. So that was my first business. I was able to hire people in our community and give them jobs, and, so that kind of started me on the path of business, being into business.
Dope.
My dad was a business owner, so I was always that little girl watching my dad and watching what he was doing. I'm like, I want to be just like him. So whatever he did, I was on. He was in politics, I'm in politics. He was in business, I was in business. So, it's always good to have that man, like, that you can look up to. My mom's like the total opposite. My mom was she was not born in Haiti like my dad. She was born in Bahamas, and she's been here since she was young. I told you she graduated from Edison, but she's more, she's the opposite of my dad. She's like, I don't want to hear about politics, because of me and my dad. Of course, she had to kind of get into it. But she's one of those Christians, like, I don't think Christians should be like, she's very different. So me navigating that space with my mom, of course, my dad's not here anymore, but just navigating that space has just been, it's been fun. It's been something.
So when we talk about, like, I think you hit on the head too about, running for state as opposed to something else. Like, you could have ran for local government in North Miami. You could have. how many, I don't know what's your experience, but tell us about some of your experiences in politics. If not even so much politics, but just in the community. Like, have you sat on any boards or anything like that?
So I currently sit on the board with the Miami-Dade County Commission. I can't remember the name right now. It's gonna come to me. And I've been the youngest elected chairwoman of Florida Rising, which is like the largest political organization in the state of Florida for Miami-Dade County. I am a DEC that same year, elected DEC State Committee woman.
What's DEC?
So Democratic Party of Miami-Dade County. So currently they have Laura Kelly, she's the president of the DEC. I am the vice president of the Haitian Democratic Caucus of Miami, Florida. I am on different boards. I'm a board member for the Haitian National Teachers Association and another organization that caters to teachers within our community in Miami-Dade County, throughout Miami-Dade County. So I have a lot of experience, and through those organizations, I've been able to travel to Tallahassee, sometimes on my own and sometimes with those organizations, advocating, helping them, being able to sit in on these hearings and actually lend my voice to bring about change. And then when we win, it's like a big win because we were able to speak out about it. They heard us, and then we were able to get certain legislation passed and approved. Like the last time I was up in Tallahassee for a hearing that I went to, I got to talk about the whole minimum wage thing, and then just the statues. They had this whole statue that they had with Confederate flags. They're taking away Black Lives Matter in the street, but they want to put up their statues and their Confederate statues and build them up. So I was like, we're not doing that. So we got a lot of things to pass and a lot of things to not pass just from being an advocate and knowing what's going on in the community. So I'm always up and down in Tallahassee. I was just up there this year, the last time. A lot of people don't even know about it, for the FPL hearings. I don't know if you know that FPL, they just did a rate increase.
Like they do always.
Yeah, so their contract was up, apparently, right? And they're like, no justifiable reason. So everyone was going back and forth on it, who kind of knew about it, and going to these hearings. And they said, we just want more money. So who does it fall on? It falls on us. Yeah. So that's why I went up there, and I was just very upset because when things like that happen locally with the water bill in North Miami and then with FPL within the entire state of Florida, I need to be there and say something. But we lost. We didn't have enough people there to fight for us. So I want to be able to have a vote and have a voice so I can make sure that a lot of things don't happen and educate the community on these things that are happening. And whether I'm in office or not, I'm always going to be active in fighting for people because I've been doing it and I'm going to continue doing it. Like I said, coming from service, it doesn't matter whether you're in the seat or not. Some people wait for you to be in office for you to actually serve. Like me, I'm able to give back to my hometown during like fundraisers and 5K walks. Every year we give out backpacks to the community for the kids for back to school. We're going to have just one big one. We partnered with Black Men Bill. We partnered with the Public Education Caucus and different organizations. We gave haircuts to boys. We got the little girls' hairs done. We did it right there at the La Puerta Church in North Miami. It was so packed. It was overwhelmingly packed. We partnered with some of the kids from FIU. They were the ones like on the scene, like giving out the backpacks. I try to encourage, you see me with young people all the time. Yeah. I try to encourage young people to serve. Like, you're never too young to serve. And I hate gatekeepers. I hate people who try to block you from serving. And then now who's up next if you didn't like give us a way in. So we always have them active, helping me out with everything. So as soon as I did that backpack drive, we had other organizations who gave backpacks as well that day, but the need was overwhelming. So they called me in Liberty City. They're like, you know what? School started about a week ago, but there's a lot of kids here who still don't have their supplies and have what they need. So I'd like, say less. So I pulled up to Liberty City. I called Roy Hardiman. I said, Roy, where's a good place to do this? That's before he passed away. I'm like, what's a good place to do it? Let's partner on this. You know, I know that's your city. I know this and that. Let's do something to give back. So partnered with him, and we had a backpack drive in Liberty City. Then Lil Haiti called me. The Lil Haiti, like, oh, there's your church. Want to do a backpack drive there? I'm like, I did 2 backpack drives already, but if there's a need, then I'm pulling up. So we had our 3rd backpack drive in Little Haiti at a church, at Hillside Church, Baptist Church in Little Haiti. So in a span of 2 weeks, we did like 3 backpack drives, and we just planned to do 1 backpack drive and get everybody from everywhere because it blew up on social media. So we did have a lot of people come up. So we thought different communities would be able to come, but I realized you have to like target certain communities and just be right there. So we do that. And of course, being a daughter of immigrants, We do free citizenship drives. So we did like one last year at the library. They haven't had it at the library since pre-COVID. And the library director was like, you know, you could do it, but I don't think people are going to come, because we used to do like back in the days, but no one has come with that idea to do it at the library since then. I said, don't worry, I'm going to do it. People going to come. It's a need. I see the need, so I'm going to do it. If it's a need, people will come, right? So we did the backpack drive at the North Miami Public Library, and there was so many different cultures. We partnered with the Amigos Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization held by a Hispanic guy, my good friend. But a lot of people were kind of giving me a lot of pushback, like, oh, he's Republican. I was trying to get the certain party to help me out. They're like, oh, but he's Republican. You can't do an event with him. I'm like, why not? I'm going to do an event with anybody who's going to help my community. Like, they get the funding from Tallahassee. My community benefits. It's a win-win for me. Yeah. I don't have to compromise anything like that. So I know being able to take that, what I have right now, to go to Tallahassee is going to be super beneficial to our community, because the need to serve and the need to make sure that the community is getting what they need, the resources that they need, that's what I'm for. That's all I'm about. So those are just a few of the things that we do every year. We give food right here in the 62nd Liberty City. We give out food to the homeless. By that plaza, there's a barber shop. I can't remember the name. He's gonna curse me out because
Slice
is it Slice?
on 7th Avenue?
It's not on 7th Avenue.
Where is that?
It's on, I think it's on 10th Avenue. It's in a plaza right next to like a corner store.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know you're talking about. I
can't remember the name. I'm a Q.
Q.
Q, yeah. Solo, some Q, so yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I know it's barbershop.
His name
you're
is
talking
Q.
about. Yeah.
The guy's name.
The corner store is there, and then there's the barbershop,
right
and then it's like the food place at the end.
Yes, then some apartments. Yeah. So we've been doing that for 2 years, because my mindset is like, yeah, everybody come out in the community, they want to give out a turkey every year. You know, cool. I'm not going to be another person giving you out a turkey. So I said, some people just get 5 turkeys just to have, they go bad just to get the turkey, you know, and there's too many people doing it anyways. It is good to give out a turkey, but if so many people doing it, let's think outside the box and do something different. Because the homeless people in the streets, if you give them a turkey, where they gonna bake it at?
Yeah, they ain't gonna be able to make
They're
that.
not, of course not. They can't eat it raw. So I said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's have this initiative where we can go, we buy some cooked food for them. Then I got different commissioners from different cities, 2 different cities, to partner and donate. And I use my own resources too, from my money, my foundation. And we got like food that they could just open and they have for like a good 2-3 weeks. You know, when people done forgot about Thanksgiving, at least they still have something that they can eat from. Yeah. Fresh food that day, a hot cooked meal, and food that they can still have. We get it back for everybody, and we make like about 6 stops. So, and that's what we do. We do it every Thanksgiving, and then it holds them for the next month afterward, after Thanksgiving. So those are some of the things that we do in the community. And pastors, every year it gets bigger. Last year we had 1 bus, 15 pastors band. This year we had like a Greyhound bus taking everybody there.
So you talked a lot about service. And I want to take it back a bit. What was like one of the lessons, I guess, you've learned over the years going up there to Tallahassee?
Probably the most important lessons I learned is the community needs a fighter. The community needs a fighter, someone who understands the law, because politics is foreign to a lot of people. I'm not going to lie to you. When you try to explain to them certain things, they see the aftermath effect. So just going to Tallahassee, I realized that a lot of people, they vote for the wrong things, and for the wrong reasons. And you need to make sure that you're always there advocating. You stick to what you need to stick to be the voice of the community. It's bad. Sometimes what people vote on, I'm looking at them like, are you serious? Like, this is like some real MAGA type stuff. But you have to realize everybody's different. Like everybody, that's why you have these different people, 120 legislators, because everybody is going to vote a certain way. Everyone feels a certain, no 2 people feel exactly the same about certain things. So I learned that you just have to, fight the battles that come as they come, and just be able to be educated on them and speak out against them when they come.
Yeah, so earlier you also talked about like you doing a lot of direct service. Yeah. And how do you plan on balancing, right? Because we're gonna talk in future tense, right? Yeah. How do you plan on balancing being in the community with having to be in Tallahassee? Like, even though we know that 3-month, 4-month
60-day
process.
session,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? 60-day session. But a lot of times when we being a person who's on the ground, I noticed that in order for me to level up, and I had this same conversation with, I think, Rod Mack, is that when you sitting on the ground and you so used to being on the ground doing direct service, you get pulled out when you have to sit in these chairs and these seats. So how do you intend on managing that?
Like I said, my foundation, I have people on as part of my foundation who can continue to do the work, but I have to be like involved and still doing public service. I'm not gonna lie. 60-day sessions, special sessions that come up after that. After that, you in Miami, you do what you have to do with the legislation. But when I'm in Miami, I'm here for the people. I'm here to serve my people. I have my business in Miami. I have my foundation in Miami, and my people are here in Miami. The people who I'm serving are in Miami. I'm in Tallahassee to make the laws and make sure that they work for the people here, make sure government works for everybody. But the rest of the year, most of the year, I'm here in Miami. So when I'm here in Miami, I'm not just going to be looking at you. Number one, I'm going to use what I've learned and done in Tallahassee to educate the community and make myself accessible, because a lot of people, they come down and they're not accessible to the community anymore. I want to have town halls so people can ask questions, so we can tell them what's going on, not them researching, finding things out, and then you're not speaking to them directly. So I want to make sure that we have town halls so that we can able to communicate with people about what's happening in Tallahassee. And I'm still going to do my service. There's no session in November. I'm still going to be able to give back to the homeless people and be there and continue my foundation. And I want to make sure a lot of foundations receive appropriation funding. A lot of these organizations who are on the ground, we use our own resources. So I want to make sure that funding is not only allocated towards these big corporations, with these community like Suntla and Flick, and I know you have the food pantry. I know the girl I met. Yeah, they have. So you guys need funding too, because you guys are actually in the actual community. The people actually come to y'all. It's not often that they're gonna go into like a big organization to go get service. They're gonna go where they know, right there in down the block, down the road. So when my community comes to me, I know that they're coming to me because they trust me. They see I'm of service. They know they feel comfortable coming to me. So give those organizations those resources and those fundings that they need from Tallahassee so that they can further serve their community. That's my belief and my goal.
I learned in another interview with the state rep that you have a set number of bills that you can pass each year, right? And so what are some of those things that you would like to see passed from just your purview before you get in the seat? What are some things that you think should be passed?
Right now, what I think should be passed and what I'm going to make sure is passed when I'm in Tallahassee, and of course we know it's majority Republican led. I know that a lot of people the Democrats, it's on 30-something Democrats. How are you guys going to be able to get anything passed? That's why bipartisan legislation is very important, and I'm not one of those Democrats that's going to say, oh, I'm not going to work across the aisle. You have to work across the aisle to get legislation passed and get funding into your community. So, but I think you have to have integrity while you're doing it. You shouldn't compromise, and you shouldn't, we've seen in the past in this seat that you shouldn't vote against the community and sell them out while you're in there just to get $1 for the community. I would not do that. But when I'm in there, and what I would like to see right now before I even get there is what's really affecting my community, which is affordable housing. The average age for someone to own their first home is 42. So you graduate from college, let's say you graduate from college at 25. Of course, people graduate, after 18, you could graduate 22, 23, but let's just say 25, right? So 25 to 35. By that time, you want to have kids, you want to start a family, you want to have a home to raise your kids in, but that's not the average age. You're probably going to be struggling to move out of your parents' house at that time. You're going to be 40 struggling to move out your parents' house at that time. So what I want to do is, I'm on some Mandami stuff. All right, the mayor of New York, that's what I'm on. I'm on like getting the young people out, giving us, what the resources that we need. I want to have first-time home buyer assistance programs that are set in place, funding allocated towards that. I want to have legislation passed so that, our senior citizens can have targeted property tax relief on their homes. So their homes are not just paid off, but they're able to retain their homes and not go into foreclosure and not have to sell it, Those are some of the things in regards to affordable housing that I want to see see pass, insurance-wise, with the property insurance. I'm talking about things that are directly affecting my community, especially within District 108, right? We see the gentrification going on. We know that you can want to purchase a home, but the property taxes make the mortgage skyrocket. So like, I can't even buy that house, even if it's cheaper than the other house I saw the other day, but the taxes are way higher. So that's not even on my radar right now. So I want to make sure that housing is accessible to everybody, and I think they should like ramp up on legislation that is going to make that affordable, and not bad legislation, because when you look at things like live local, I'm for workforce housing, but when you look at things like that have language in there that override local zoning ordinances, that's preemption, and I'm against that. I think a lot of things have to be amended and carefully looked at, and make sure that it's in the best interest and the want of the community. Because if your community is saying, no, that's not good, we want affordable housing, we want workforce housing, but the way y'all trying to go about it is not in our best interest, then you need to listen to your community. And a lot of these people, these developers, they're paying off these elected officials. That's why there's so much corruption. And I represent a new generation of leaders that is totally against all this political corruption. Let's do for the community, but let's do it the right way. So I will be bringing a lot of money to my community, because I know how to work across the aisle. I know how to work. I'm not looking at your party. I know how to make sure that we're able to get the resources that we need, but I'm not going to sell out my community and give you the vote that you're asking for. That's detrimental to my community. And that's what I want the community to understand, because we've seen that in District 108 before in the past, and I don't want that to repeat. I don't want history to repeat itself. I'm different than all the reps that have been there before. In a way, I'm a fighter like Dottie. In another way, the past reps, I could work across the aisle to bring money. But when you put that together, because I'm a lifelong student, a lifelong learner. I pay attention. I'm like, okay, let's look at Felicia Robinson. She's able to bring money back to her community, right? And she doesn't have to compromise, negotiate. I'm looking at Wallace Aristide, her first 2 terms. People don't usually bring money back their first 2 terms. They always say it's their first term. They always say your second term, that's when you'll probably be able to do something. But first term, able to bring money back, right? Looking at different senators who are Democrats, but they're able to bring funding, but they're not going against and selling out their community a lot of the times, right? So that's why I want people to pay attention. A lot of people are like, oh, this person bought back money, they bought this, they bought that back. At what cost to us? What did they do? What they behind closed doors? Exactly. Y'all done give a turkey here on Monday in Miami. Then you go to Tallahassee behind closed doors, and you vote in with the Republicans for things that you didn't agree to do when we voted you into office. That's why you see a lot of people become like one-term senators or one-term state representatives, and then they go to these elections every year, and then they don't get voted in. And I think that's the situation I'm in right now against people who are running in this race. If you're a one-term senator, I think the community has spoken. That means they said, we gave you a chance, you didn't do right, we voted you out. You went this year, you lost. You went again, you lost. Then you went for another seat in 2024, you lost. Now, if it's your 4th time come on, give the new generation a chance. Let us come out and lead. Why you laughing?
I know who you're talking about.
No, I'm not throwing shots at it. I'm just saying, the community has spoken. Like, listen to the community,
yeah.
And like I said, I'm on some Mandami type stuff, right? I feel like we need a new generation of leaders who's not afraid to stand up and speak out against these Trump MAGA extremist Republicans. And not everyone is MAGA. You have to figure out who you can work with and who can help you to pass a bill and pass certain legislation, right? Yeah. And that's how I see it. But if you're, taking money from the wrong people and from these different donors who are not good, and then you go into office, now you're working for your donors and not for the people, that's a problem to me. That's a big problem to me.
How do you leverage that, though? Because, we all know that they come and have conversations with our state reps and everybody else. So how do you balance that? Because that's the reality. I'm not one person who just it's bad because you talk to them. It's like, okay, what does that look like when you do have those conversations with them? Because I'm pretty sure, FPNL got started by lobbyists. Let's be real, right? All the energy lobbyists got together and said, hey, bing, let's put this thing together called FPNL, right? And undoubtedly, of course, with the Live Local, the developers are coming to y'all. So now that y'all having these conversations, and you'll be in that seat, what does that look like when you have to sit there and work these things out with them?
I mean, like you said, those conversations have to be had. You can't say, oh, I'm not talking to you because you're on this side of that. No, it doesn't work like that. That means we never get anything done, or yours just passes because we're able to have that, dialogue. So when you're in that situation, you have to listen to what they say, and you have to, like I said, live local could be a good thing if it's amended in a certain way, and you don't have to override local ordinances and zoning. Because like I said, I'm for workforce housing, and that's one of the things that are included in that live local. So that teachers and police officers and firefighters, people who serve their community and give themselves, are able to live in the communities that they serve and don't have to live in Port St. Lucie or in deep Fort Lauderdale to work there. Yeah. So there's some good aspects, but the overall language and the overall, when you look at everything comprehensively, it's not good for the community. Because let me give you an example. What Live Local does when you override these local zoning ordinances, right? So you purchase a property. This is your dream home. You love your backyard. You get the sun. You get to be in your pool or whatever in the backyard, just eating mangoes, right? And all of a sudden, the developers come pay them. They override the local ordinances where they were never able, when you purchased a home, they were not able to build a high-rise development there. Now they come. Now everyone's looking at you in your pool, right? You no longer get that shade anymore, and you feel your privacy. You feel violated. So a lot of people do not want that. They purchase properties in Miami Shores, on the water, different places where they want to build these areas, and people don't want that. You listen to your community. So I think that if everyone was able to sit down at the table and have real dialogue, I think a good plan could be created. I believe so. I believe if they just sit down and involve the community in the conversation, and I always say that's a big issue. They just talk to these politicians who are ready to take the money, and they don't ask the community and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. Let's have a town hall. What do you think about it before we go make that decision and, sign those papers and get these things going? So I think having the community involved in those conversations and having that dialogue, we'll probably be able to come up with something that is so beneficial to the community, and the developers will be, of course, they won't be 1,000% satisfied, but they'll be like, okay, we're able to get this development in. It's going to benefit the community. It's not going to override the local zoning ordinances, and the community is happy. And I think the community should be happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, like I said, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen, and I always, want to bring some practicality to the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, we talked about developers. We talked about, your work in Tallahassee. Why should folks vote for you?
Folks should vote for me because I am the definition of no politics as usual. So I believe in the government working for everybody, not just Trump's wealthy billionaire friends. I think that our future deserves a seat at the table, and that's one of my taglines. My platform, I can actually say that what I say, I will do. I don't take money. I told you that. We talked about it in the panel. I'm probably one of the only candidates, because this is Gen Z and millennials. That's why we're running all over the country. We don't take bad money. I know y'all thought I said I don't take no money. No, I need my money. If y'all want to donate, go on my website. But we don't take all types of money from different bad people, because when we get into office, we want to actually serve the people. So we don't want people saying, oh, we put you here, this organization, this corporation, this PAC, and now we're not able to actually do the work for the community. You should vote for me because you want to end political corruption, and you want to make sure that your future and your voice has a seat at the table. And you want to make sure that you have a new generation of young leaders who are actually fighting to do exactly that. So one of my videos went viral of me trying to save North Miami Senior High. And a lot of people didn't even know about it. They were not educating people at the co-location. Last month I went to a school board meeting. They closed 9 schools that day. And of course, it's been happening in Broward County. We need somebody who's not scared of people who are getting these kickbacks while in office, and who's able to educate the community and say yo, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to let my voice be heard, and I'm going to see what I can do to stop it. And doing research, it has been stopped other places when people are educating, their community comes together and they're okay, let's have a strategic plan of how we're going to stop this. So I think the community needs a fighter right now. If you want a fighter, you want someone who's actually going to speak for you on your behalf, who knows you, who knows the people, who is the people, then I'm your only option in this race. If you want someone who will not compromise their integrity and their values when in office, but still able to bring about results to the community, then I'm the only qualified candidate in the race. If you're tired of recycled politicians every cycle trying to come back just for power, not really for the people, then I'm the only qualified candidate in this race. The other Democratic nominees are over 70 years old, and not knocking the age, but every time I speak to someone, I'm knocking on doors and everybody is telling me the exact same thing. Like, I think after a certain age, 65, you should probably yeah. At a certain point, you're receiving Social Security, you're receiving all these benefits, and then you're running for office again. Like, it's your time. Thank you so much. Like, you served us, you did your thing. We appreciate you. Like, but relax, go on vacation, enjoy your life. You put in the work, and we appreciate you so much. Because honestly, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the people before me who paved the way. So without them, I tell them, I say thank you all the time. Like, I can't stress that enough, how grateful I am to have these people who came before me and made history. Like, as the first Haitian senator, as the first Haitian councilman, as the first black woman in office, first black woman to be vice president, in the country. Those people, they made me, as a young girl growing up, it's like, oh wow, I can do this, I can accomplish this. But now when I get older and I'm actually ready to get into that seat and help the community on that level, now the same people I was looking at back in the days, you still here trying to get in, and I feel like I don't have a place. A lot of young people are leaving Miami. They feel like they don't have a voice and they're not able to have a seat at the table. And the parents need them to help them as they're aging and growing, but they don't feel like they have a say. They're not involved in the decision-making process of things that are going on. So I want to make sure that everyone has a seat at the table, including our elders and our senior citizens, because they help guide me right now. Every decision I make, I call an elder. I talk to them about things because they've been there, they've done that. Dinah does not know everything, and I would never know everything. And if it's not for them helping me and guiding me along the way, trust me, it wouldn't be good. We can't just have new gen people just going around doing things. We have to get the advice, the knowledge from the elders. Like, I'll sit down, crisscross applesauce, and just listen to them all day for sure. But I do think that it's time for change. I really do believe that wholeheartedly, that it's time for change. And it starts with us in our community, because people are watching, and you're looking at the other party, and I'm seeing these young college kids who are the president, vice president of the DEC. Like, they give them a chance. They don't block them. They know that they're going to need them to progress and continue their legacy. Like, even Trump, they start their kids off early. They start them off early, and they make sure that they're able to replace them and know everything and have a seat at the table. So why can't we do the same in our community? We'll never advance, we'll never grow if we feel like you're always just gonna be here stopping us from serving our community when it's our time. When is our time? And that means if you did it, that means I think we can do it too. I'm very confident. I think I can do the job as well. I believe I can do the job. And if the community gives me a chance to serve them and prove to them that my years of public service, my years of being a small business owner, my years of being in the classroom as a teacher have prepared me for this very situation, for this very day where I'll be able to take everything that I learned and be able to go and serve my community in a larger capacity in Tallahassee. I think that will be just a changing point for our community overall. More young people will want to get into office. More young people will stay here in the local community. They'll feel like they have representation that looks like them and is fighting for them, and they can buy a house here now because this person knows what it is like to live with your parents for a longer time than you would like to because you can't afford a house So that's my thing.
Yeah, you made a point earlier about, bad money. What's bad money in your eyes? I ask stupid questions just to understand it because a lot of people don't know. Like, I think we talk on this high level transparency and all that a lot of times, but a lot of times I be talking for the people like right outside the door. You know what I mean? I think they need to know, what's that bad money and how do you navigate that in this role, in this space that you currently in?
So just doing your research. So right now, the number one thing I always say, I posted on my page and, got some kickback. I know certain young people have been getting kickback, but they're still able to win because people don't like that. So I won't accept APAC money. Big corporations that, try to influence certain votes when you're in office in Tallahassee, that's what is considered bad money to me. Like I said, I want to work for the people, not for the donors. And a lot of politicians, they work for their donors and not for the people. So I want to be the difference. I don't want to be the the same as everybody else. When I'm in office, I want everyone to be like, oh, wow, Dinah Escarment is in office. Have you seen what she did? Have you seen she kept her promises? See how when Mandami went into office, he didn't take any bad money. He was for the people. The young people came out. They felt like they were going to have representation, and people, it was historic, right? And in the first 100 days, he was able to keep his promise, all the promises that he set out, still working on a lot of them still, but everything that he planned to do, he was able to implement them. The budget, the deficit went to $0. Like everything, free childcare, allocating funds toward things like that to get a certain amount of families to get that free childcare, the free transit that he talked about. A lot of these things, when you don't owe the donors and you owe the community for voting for you, that's when you're most effective.
Have you, I think a large part of what Mom Donnie's been able to do is because he had a lot of people in like key positions. They were lining up the chessboard, you know what I'm saying? The chess pieces. And so have you know.
Not in the beginning though.
Not
in the beginning, he was like, I think when they did the polling, they was like, you're not going to win. It's 2%. You're going against a career politician.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is there were people who were working on the outside, right? That he had, it was a groundswell. It wasn't just some overnight, he get elected and then boom, boom, boom. He started to put, in the first 100 days, he put people in office.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He also had to maneuver through that system, right? Similar to what you've had to do in the state. And so have you made any allies in the state that, that can make it easy for that first term?
Yeah, like I said, I'm a lifelong student, lifelong learner. I'm looking at the people who brought in the money, Democrats. I'm like, okay, I'm going in as a Democrat. So I'm able to go and say, okay, that's why I go to Tallahassee, so I can meet a few people. So like, I don't just go, and I don't only go with the Democrats. Like, I'll go to Tallahassee. I want to be a Republican, to walk me around to certain people. So I think it's important to, be able to speak with the Speaker of the House and, because they influence a lot of those things, right? A lot of those decisions that are being made. So yeah, I have been able to make some of those allies and meet those people in key positions in Tallahassee so that when I go up there, they see me as, I don't want to say necessarily like an ally, but somebody that, will do what's best for my community and will work with them and partner with them on certain things to get the best outcome.
All right, well, y'all heard it from her. Okay? I've been getting on my dog a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I got in the hot seat.
We got into a lot of policies today.
Yeah, a lot of policies today.
I'm not even in office yet.
Yeah, but I just asked the question because people, it's more or less, people sit. I don't want you to get up here and make promises that I know you can't keep, right?
Yeah,
because
I don't like that.
It's one of those situations where it's like, it's not just you.
Yeah. Right?
So my thing is, I focus more on like, what are your priorities? What are the things that you would like to see based on the level, where you've been? You know what I mean? And so I hope I ain't grill you too much.
No. I think it's important for the community to know because, like, I've lived and experienced these things. Like the Parkland shooting, I was a teacher in Broward County at that time. So when you look at my platform and you see gun violence prevention, because it was a traumatic day. It was a next door neighboring school in Broward County that experienced that Parkland shooting. So we had to shut everything down. And looking at my middle school students, like I lived those things. So when I say gun violence prevention and safety for our students, it's because I've been there, done that. I'm not just putting a platform like a lot of people, they just put a platform and they don't have any real ties to their platform. When I talk about affordable housing, it's because I see the senior citizens who lose their homes in my community when they're on a fixed Social Security income and they can't afford the rising property taxes. I see the young people in my generation who have to stay at their parents' house because they can't afford to rent. The rent is too high and they can't afford a mortgage and put down on a new home. So that's why I said we need first-time home buyer assistance programs. I live these things. When I talk about small business funding, it's because I'm a small business owner and I've seen how many businesses have closed and I see how hard the process is to get a permit, the streamlining. I see how they only give grants to, big corporations. They don't give to minority owned businesses. It's like so hard and it's so unfair. So when you see these things on my platform, it's because you can say, oh, she's been through each of these things. Not that she's putting it because it sounds good in the community's ears. She can tell you an experience about every single one of these things on her platform that makes these things a priority to her and her getting elected in office. Every single thing on my platform. every single thing I stand for, I've been through it, I experienced it, and I want the community to be able to feel like someone is in office who knows their needs and who is just like them.
I'm going to give you one last chance to make this 30-second pitch. You're going to look right here in this camera. Then we're going to close out.
So guys, like I said, my name is Dinah Escarment, teacher, community leader, and the board I sat on was the nuisance abatement board that I do sit on with the county commission. Just remember the name. I'm someone who you can trust. I'm not here to make any promises to you because a lot of people have been rejected in the past because they cannot keep their promises. But I can promise you that I will fight hard. I will fight my hardest to make sure that everything that I have planned, my vision for District 108, is implemented and legislation is put in on your behalf. I will make sure that we end corruption, political corruption, and be able to be a voice of reason for the people, and that the community gets the resources that we need. We shouldn't have to look at other communities and other schools in different areas that are getting all these resources, and we're on the back end because we have no one fighting and advocating on our behalf. With me, you have leadership you can trust, leadership with integrity, and leadership you can count on that is accessible. My name is Dinah Escarment. I'm running to be your state representative for District 108, and I look forward to serving you guys.
Y'all heard it here first. Dinah Escarment. All right. Y'all vote. I can't tell y'all who to vote for.
Punch 103, y'all.
Punch 103. Hey, if you in the area and she on your ballot, make the consideration. I'm putting everything out here for everybody to see. Okay? Make the choice on your own. I see y'all when I see y'all. Peace. We out.